What is up, guys? It is your boy Brandon Groce, self-taught designer, and today we're going to be talking about how copying can help you improve your web design and app design skills. Now with that, let's get into it. If you guys are new to this channel, my name is Brandon Groce. I'm a self-taught designer and I work with large brands such as Disney, Dannon, and Huggies. So if you're new to this channel is all about building your brand and getting paid like you should. So if you guys are new, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel because we're learning a lot of cool stuff here and to improve ourselves and get to that next level. So with that said, let's get back to our topic, how copying, web design, and app design can improve our skills as designers. Now let me start off with saying this. We're gonna go in two sections, one for beginners and one for advanced, because copying is used differently by both beginners and the advanced designers. The goals are different. So with that, let me start with this. So copying, why this is good for beginners is because it gives beginners, starting out into design, it gives them a outlet or something to look at, designs that have good habits. So copying things like, what Facebook's doing, basically all the large startup or apps, all those type of websites, applications, basically just seeing all those type of websites to basically see what they're doing and copy their UI and UX principles. Not only principles, but how exactly they lay their stuff out. And the reason this is because this is basically giving you a point of reference so that when you're copying these things, you're basically practicing the good habits within these designs. So what I typically tell beginners is to copy literally. Like if you're, this is your first month, second month into Photoshop, Sketch, whatever, literally just sit down and copy how these people laid out their experience, whatever they're copying. And then as you go through, not only are you practicing it physically, but subconsciously you're getting used to how things should be spaced, font sizes, things like that, for example. So it's a really good practice to just practicing in that way, so you just get the muscle memory of how to design things. And then as you get more and more practice, start reading into what specifically, the specifics behind their decisions. And that's when you start going from UI, just building, what it looks like, and then getting into the UX, the decision-making piece. So that's why copying is good, because it gets you really, for beginners, gets you really practiced in the doing. And then as you're doing, and you get really comfortable with the physical work of, building this thing, then you can understand the why of, we're doing this. I found that this is a very good way to attack getting into the industry, getting into practicing as somebody new coming into the space. And it's something that I've done as well. That's all I did, is I copied the designs that I most liked and that I saw in the industry that were top notch, and I moved my way from UI to then understanding the decisions behind why those choices were made. That's for beginners. Now we're gonna move into the advanced. There's a few people that they hear me say copying all the time, and they're like, why would you do that? And I'm gonna talk about it. Because I feel like when you get more into your workforce, people like to talk about original work. And I don't really believe in original work. I believe in masses and multiple amounts of ideas out in the world. And our jobs as designers is how well can we spin it to create the originality. I only believe in puzzle pieces and putting them together. And I don't think that's something to look down on. I think that's just how powerful the brain is and how beautiful it is to have an organ that allows us to intake all this data and then allow us to spin it in such a way to create something which seems new. We're taking what exists and using it in another way to achieve a certain goal. So I don't think that copying is a bad thing. I think this is just people want to think that they came up with something new. But and then also I may not be explaining my copying correctly, because when someone says copying, it's just like, oh, he's cheating, right? But this is how I believe copying facilitates the growth of a advanced designer. After my long rant, how copying can facilitate the growth of a advanced designer is by basically, the designer's job is to intake inspiration from all things in life, what he sees during his day, what he sees going on in the industry, what he sees works, what doesn't work, things that aren't related in terms of design that could be meshed together that could produce another outcome or another behavior. Those are the things how copying could help. So it's a little different than the beginners, where the beginner's job or their goal is to just learn how to use, how to make things. So they're gonna copy, you know, just one thing. Whereas the advanced designers, well, I encourage us to, you know, take inspiration from a lot of different things, see how we can spin those things together to create an original piece or something that has been used in one way to then spin it and use it in another. So, and I think that's what creativity is. It's just taking input, what is around us and what we use in our day-to-day life, taking that inwards and then saying, oh, well, this can be used like this can be used like that. But it's just about getting that inspiration, getting those things inside, you know, in our heads, so that we can then play with it in our own heads, spin it, turn it upside down, flip it, and reverse it. And then once we have, you know, a good group of inspirations, then we start messing with those puzzle pieces. I call inspirations puzzle pieces. How can we get those puzzle pieces to fit in a certain way that creates a new solution? So I think that's how copying, or basically taking inspiration from other things and then spinning them and turning them in different ways to create the new thing. So that's really it, guys. So for beginners, copying, the goal is to basically learn how to use their programs, learn the good habits from other designers out there in the field, and then after that, learn the why behind the decision making of building web products, websites, apps in that way. Whereas advanced designers, we need to take a mass inspiration approach and then take those puzzle pieces in a way, mix and match them so that we can create a new original solution to what we're trying to solve. And that's how copying can help improve our UI, UX skills. So with that, guys, drop in the comments what you think about copying. I really want to hear, you know, hopefully I explained it better in this video, and I hope it's, you know, now spaced out for both beginners and advanced designers, so that you guys can see how I'm thinking about copying from both sides of the spectrum and what the goals is for both of these designers. So with that, guys, Groce, self-taught designer, out. Peace.